Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Maggie. Today I've got a pan that palette update for you and I'm excited because I've already hit pan on something which I wasn't expecting and I'm excited to tell you all about it. So this year I am panning a set of eyeshadows from Depotted ColourPop palettes. So these are all ColourPop single shadows. I mean, not originally, they're from palettes, and then I made my own like Z palette situation. So I've been loving using this. I have mine split in half, so I kind of have this warm section and then the cooler section. And being that it is winter, it is snowing right now, I've definitely been leaning into this cooler side. I've been liking more of a taupier eye look, maybe a little bit of purpley there. So most of my usage has been over here. I would also say I've dabbled over here a couple of times, right? Like I can't do cool tone every single day, but that's been where my focus is. Let's first start with a side-by-side comparison. So this is what it currently looks like today. And let me share with you the updates. I can tell you how many times I've used each shade and how I've been using them. So we're gonna go in rows. This first top row, this one here on the end, this one is called Top Down. This is kind of a peachy shade. I've already had pan on it. I brought it to a work trip with me. I just pulled like 4 of these and brought a little quad with me. And this was one of them because it's a great blending shade. It definitely packs a punch on my fair complexion. So while it doesn't look like much in the pan, it really does have like a nice warmth to it, which is a great kind of starter crease shade. And then I can layer things on top of it. So I use it 5 times. This one here is called Idle Hour. I do have a little speck of pan in here right now. This is one I definitely want to focus in on more later this year. It's this really pretty kind of light gold. I love it all over the lid. The next one, this kind of matte orange shade here, this is called Morningside. I haven't used it at all. The one next to it, this cool tone shade is called Boa. I've used this 15 times. This has been my go-to like starter crease shade when I'm doing any sort of cool tone look. It just gives me a little bit of color without being too over the top, and it just helps with everything blending. So I've used this 15 times so far. There's really not too much of a dent. One thing about ColourPop shades is they are pretty well packed. So it'll take a long time for me to hit pan in some of these mattes, but just using them consistently will get me there. So then moving over, this one is called Silk Teddy. I used it twice. I really enjoy this one. This is one that I will probably want to finish up before the end of the year. I really love it, but I've been focusing on some other things so far. So this is Silk Teddy with 2 uses. Then we've got this green shade. This is called Seashells. I haven't reached for it. This one I like more in the springtime, just a little pop of color, but it's still kind of like a gold green, so it's not like too green, you know? And then on the end here, this one's called No Bounds. It's a dark chocolate brown. I haven't used it at all. I already had pan starting in here. So the next row in the middle, this one here on the edge, this one's called Hustler. I used it 7 times. Again, just kind of like a nice warm crease shade. So brought that one up quite a few times, and I also used this on my lower lash line a couple of times too, just to have a little something there. I've been experimenting with it. Because I wear glasses, I feel like if I have too much going on in my lower lash line, it can just kind of translate as like dark circles, just because of the natural shadows of lenses. So I try to keep it with light shades down there, and I did use this one a couple of times. Then we have Coastline, this one. This I've used 20 times. This is my inner corner highlight shade. So I'm using it with any look really, and I already had pan, but this is also one that I would love to finish up by the end of the year, and I think I can do that just by consistently using it, even just in the inner corner. I think I used it once all over the lid as well, and it's pretty, it's just very kind of icy and bright. So on the lid, it doesn't have much like shimmer like some of these others. It's just kind of like a glossy kind of look, which is pretty too. So then next to that one, where am I in my notes? I lost my spot. Oh, Tease Me, haven't used, so 0. And then this nice kind of deeper one is called Haute. Haven't used that either. I'm really excited to play with that in the fall. So moving back over the cool tone side, this one is called Pebble Beach. I've been using this one a lot. I have 16 uses. I kind of pair it after using Boa, so that's been a go-to crease shade. And then this one is called Rumored, and this is the one I hit pan on. So this has been my go-to lid shade. I actually hit pan this morning when I was doing my eye look. So that was really exciting, and this is what it looks like on. It's just a nice, pretty taupe. So Rumored took me 10 uses to hit pan. I did have a good dip in there already, so I'm really excited to already have a pan. And because I've hit pan on this one, I probably will shift my focus. I might come back to it at time to time, but there's other shades in here that I want to start leaning into next. So then next to that is Prefix. I've used it once. It's kind of like this deeper taupey, but almost like gold. It's very interesting. I used it in the inner third or outer third of my eye once. And then I've got Velveteen here on the end. So this one is a nice brown. I have been using it. You might be able to see a little spot here as a liner. And I actually think that this will work well even with those warmer tones. I don't really have like a brown over here. So I've been using this as a liner. I've used it 5 times. This is Velveteen. I don't know if I said that. And that's how I think I can hit pan on some of these other shades too, is using them as liners. Moving on to this bottom row, back on this side, I've got the Hot Gossip, excuse me. I used this one twice. And then I used this one, the Talk, once. And this does have pan in it. This is like a shimmery peach. I really like this one. I would love to use it up sometime this year. Then we've got Designer Duds, which is almost like a similar shade, just a little bit deeper. Also very pretty. I used that one twice. Then we've got this nice kind of fiery shimmer. This is called Fuzzy. I haven't used this one yet, but I think this one will be really pretty late summer and fall. And then I've got this kind of matte, like mauve-y purple. This is called All For You. And I use this one 9 times. I've been using that in the crease sometimes with boa as well if I want to do a little bit more purple, or sometimes if things are just looking a little too gray, I'll use this very lightly and just kind of buff it in just to add a little bit of color other than gray. This one is Snake Eyes. So Snake Eyes and Rumored are pretty similar. And even like, what's this one? Silk Teddy, like this whole row of shimmers are pretty similar, but you know, slightly different undertones. So I think what I'm going to do now that I've hit pan on Rumored is focus in on Snake Eyes and see if I can get pan in that in the next couple of months. That would be really awesome. And then I could go focus in on finishing this Silk Teddy one up. That's what I'm kind of thinking for my game plan anyway. So I used Snake Eyes twice. This kind of deeper purple I used as a liner 3 times. This is called Active Fool. So that's also one I think I'll hit pan using it as a liner. Very pretty with the cooler tone look. And then at the very end, I've got a black. This one's called Spyglass. I will eventually use this one as a liner, but I have been into kind of less harsh and more of these softer liners with the brown or the purple instead of the black. So that is it with my one new pan here in Rumored, which is very exciting, which means that we get to update my pan percentage today. We'll get to that in a moment. I also have a companion palette that I am using. So last year I did this where every 2 months I changed my companion palette. I really like doing this because it gives me a couple of different variety options. It also lets me use all of the palettes in my collection throughout the year, even if they're not my Pan That palette. And it kind of helps me look at my Pan That palette in a different light. So I have been using this quad from ColourPop. This one's called the Sorbet Quad. There are obviously 4 shades, and these are kind of purpley mauve tones. So I've been really focusing on the shimmers. I've used the matte a couple of times when I was traveling because I pulled 4 shades from here and I brought this when I traveled. Like this mauve shade is pretty similar to some of the purples I have in here. So I've been trying to use my singles over this, but I've really loved these 2 shimmers because I really don't have a pink shimmer in the palette. So let's see here, I've got to get this right. This one is called Glazy. I used it 4 times. This one's called Scooped. I used it 4 times. So this one's a little bit more like icy purple. This one's got a little bit more pink to it. And then I used this one, this Extra Syrup Mauve shade 3 times. And I haven't used Drizzled because again, this is very similar to some of the shades in my palette here. So no pan, but I am happy to have this as an option just to kind of mix it up. And my goal anyway for when I've been using this companion palette is really just to use 1 shade out of here and the rest in here just to get some good solid use in this palette. So that's where we're at with the eyeshadow. I'm going to keep this ColourPop Quad in for February, which is perfect for, you know, kind of, again, cooler tone pinky purple looks. And then in March, we will switch it out. So as far as pan percentage goes, I started the year with 13 pans in my collection, and I have a total of 90 eyeshadows that I could hit pan on. So that's 14.44%. And now I've hit pan on one more, so I have 14 eyeshadows with pan out of 90 because I haven't bought any and I haven't used any up yet. So that's 15.55%. So I'm really excited with that. If you are not familiar, I have a page in my planner that I draw out all my palettes so we can keep track of where I hit pan. So this block here is for my Pan That palette, all those singles, and we're going to be coloring this space over here. What I do is a dashed line means that I've hit pan, and if I finish something, I will color the whole grid space all the way in. And then I also have different colors on here. Each year I pick a color to assign it to, so we're gonna do this kind of like I don't know, like fuchsia-y purple shade. I've got pink and blue and yellow and green already on here, so this should stand out pretty well. So let me just go ahead and draw in where I've hit pan, which would be right here. So now we've got that new space and pan, which is very exciting. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get some more spaces with pan, but again, I do want to finish up some of these shades too. I came into this with 8 pans in this palette, so what I would love to do is hit pan or finish 8 shades this year. If I could do 10, that'd be awesome. But I think if I can double, you know, I came in with 8 and then either have 8 more pans or a combination of either hitting pan and finishing up 8 total shades, that would be great. So I've already hit pan on 1, so just 7 to go. And yeah, I'm really excited for the rest of the month to see what I can do. I don't know if I'm going to hit pan on anything before the next update. There's not really a ton of really good dips. I feel like February, and it is a little bit of a shorter month, I feel like February is just going to be like a good usage month. You know, we're just going to get our usage. We're going to set the groundwork so that later in the year, we'll have a lot of pans showing. So that's all I have for you. I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.